Welcome to The Right Focus, a podcast for writers, newbies, and veterans, and everyone in between. We're hosted by Emma Lee with the assistance of Remy Black and Edie Rooms, all from Writers Inc. Books. Our focus is productivity, process, craft, and tools. Each episode lasts as long as it takes to fix a quick dinner, drive a short commute, or take a brisk walk. Resources and links are in the show notes. Visit us at therightfocus.blogspot.com. Now, on to this week's episode. We're continuing our Easter series combined with writing as we seek more. Bright Wednesday. He is risen. That's the word the women gave, based on the evidence of the tomb and the word of the bright angel who reassured them. Yet the disciples could not bring themselves to believe. They wanted to, desperately, but their earthly realism prevented complete belief. So 3 days after the crucifixion, on the day of the resurrection, 2 of Jesus' followers are walking on the road to Emmaus. One of them is Cleopas. The historian Hegesippus recorded that Cleopas was the son of the brother of Joseph. Therefore, he was a cousin of Jesus. The 2 men are talking about the events, especially the words of the women just that morning, and a stranger greets them. They recount the troubling events, especially the greatest troubling event of the body missing from the tomb, the appearance of the angel no longer there. And the disciples admit they are amazed. We have forgotten the true meaning of amaze: to fill with astonishment, to stagger, to stupefy, to awe. To be amazed is to be confused by mystery. They explain all this to the stranger they see before them as they are walking on the road together. But they do not really see the stranger, just as they never really heard Christ's message. Not until he rebukes them. He says, "O foolish ones, and slow of heart to believe all that the prophets have spoken. Was it not necessary that the Christ should suffer these things and enter into his glory?" And beginning with Moses and all the prophets, he interpreted to them in all the scriptures the things concerning himself. This encounter is related in Luke 24:13-35, and it's called the Road to Emmaus. Once again, Christ had to teach. Now perhaps they listen with better understanding. Now perhaps they can heed his words. Yet Christ does not reveal himself to them. They do not see who he is until he joins them for supper, breaks the bread and blesses it, and gives it to them. Only then, hearts burning within them, do they recognize him, and he instantly vanishes. Very often in life, we do not see what is before our faces until a flash of understanding reveals all. How often do we never receive that flash of understanding? The information is before us, but we lack the spirit to see and comprehend. Or we willfully blind ourselves. As with these 2 disciples, so it often is with us. We see the constant daily miracles of God, but we do not see them, we do not accept them, we do not understand them. Perhaps our prayers should be for more understanding, more discernment. The gifts we ask for should be the witness of his miracles. We should pray that we heed the lessons we hear and have heard over and over again. Many years ago, in my search for more about my faith in Christ Jesus, I stumbled upon the Sarum prayer. Sarum is the old Norman-built cathedral within the environs of Sarum Castle. The cathedral and castle are built upon an ancient hill fort in Salisbury, in southwest England, occupied from 400 BC to the early 13th century, when everything moved to a new location. I copied the prayer into a commonplace journal when I found it. Over the years, I have moved the prayer forward into new journals. I re-encounter it at odd times, and it always speaks, reminding me of lessons I still need to heed. It's comforting, but also a little sad, to realize that every individual in every generation has to learn and relearn the same lessons about Christ and our walk with Him. At least for me, I find a strange connection across the years to the person who first penned this little prayer. The Sarum Prayer, which is from the 1527 Sarum Primer. God be in my head and in my understanding. God be in mine eyes and in my looking. God be in my mouth and in my speaking. God be in my heart and in my thinking. God be at my end and in my departing. Creativity Refresh, number 11. Finish what you start is one of the guiding principles of writing. The purpose of following this principle is to manage our successful survival of a work's middle. That central 50%, 25% of the beginning, 25% of the end. That 50% can appear a huge wall, meandering, wide, tall, with sentinels on the parapet to prevent our passage to the end. No matter the length of a work, epic novel or short story, we find the bulky middle an insurmountable barrier. We do overcome it. We climb over or breach the wall. We're so caught in pushing through that we may reach the end before we expected. The middle is difficult. The first flash of excitement in the story's opening is gone, vanished as we place one sentence after another, paragraph to paragraph, to scene. By the middle, we have a glimpse of the end. Even if we haven't planned the end, we still have a hazy view that becomes clearer and clearer with each choice we make. When we write with curiosity at the forefront, we can still see to our end, and the excitement and suspense are vanishing. Also, at the beginning, our excitement has our writing exceeding our daily chosen tally. We bog down as our writing catches up to our creative ideas and dashes past. The story events slow, and our daily tally with it. We have that guiding principle, finish, nagging us. We want to overcome the slowdown, and we push ahead. We think, more words go onto the page, and we can climb the wall, go faster. We have ideas flying in. We can barely keep up. We see no end to those gushing ideas. However, when they begin to float in, traveling at the pace of a hot air balloon rather than a fluttering bird, we do not need to push or to shove more words onto the page. We have a warning sign. Let the pace of ideas dictate our pace of words. Here's another very important guiding principle of writing. Stop the writing session before running dry. Running a vehicle until the gas tank or electric battery is completely empty is not wise. That action can damage the vehicle. Writing until we have no ideas left is also not wise. The damage happens to our creativity. We do not kill it, but we can suck it dry. I believe Ernest Hemingway kept to this principle, even to the point of stopping mid-scene. I would not go that far, but I would stop before there's no last idea flitting around. Stop when you know what the next scene will be. I make a jot list, intended to be only 7 words and or phrases that are currently bouncing around for the next scene or two. Sometimes the list turns into one long column. Sometimes it's only 4 or 5 items. Before we return to the next writing session, our subconscious has tumbled those ideas around with other lurking details. We may have a completely new direction or series of details for the next scene when we resume writing on the next day. Even when we managed only a few items on the list, the subconscious worked with them, often only to know what will happen after those scant few items. Sticky notes are a writer's blessing here to record ideas for the next scenes, the ideas for scenes much later in the work, and for ideas that surfaced for earlier scenes. My jot list varies in length. day to day. Once it turned into a later scene, and I had to leapfrog when my writing reached that scene. The jot list is helpful whether you are a pantster or a plotter or a puzzler. When a puzzler, the jot list divides into two: ideas for the very next scene in the plot and ideas for the next scene you will write. For a plotter, the jot list usually adds new ideas and details to a scene already outlined. Add those listed items. They will add depth and richness to the planned scene. For a pantster like me, the jot list is crucial as we advance through the story. What to do if you did write until your ideas ran out? What to do when you have no ideas when next you resume writing? That is our topic for the next refresh. Thanks for listening to The Write Focus, a podcast for writers at all levels, hosted by Emma Lee from Writers Inc. Books, assisted by Remy Black and Edie Runes. Our focus is productivity, process, craft, and tools. Music is licensed through Audio Jungle, called Background Music Loop. Its creator is Alexander Polishchuk, known on Audio Jungle as Plastic 3. The music comes in different iterations. Show notes and resource links for this and other episodes can be found at thewritefocus.blogspot.com. Write to us at winkbooks@aol.com when you have questions, comments, and speculations. We will try to answer you as quickly as possible. By the way, we will not mind your email address. That's rude. If you find value in our content, share with your writing friends or write a review. We're small beans here without the advertising budget of the big peeps, and you can make a difference. And whatever occurs, write on.